Need to have Zoe Gaming's chat up. Oh my god, we haven't been live on this channel since last month. All right, let me go and get some music on, and we'll get this party started.
Oh, look at you,
shortly.
Jackbox Party Packs. Look at that.
Hell yeah. Oh shit, you're right. I have to change the game. Oh no. Embarrassing. This is supposed to be talk shows and schnitz. Edit stream info. Let's go. Zoe Gaming live. Season 2, episode 7. Arctic Ace. Featuring Nanoskyggen. And it's not the season 2 premiere. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza. Talk shows and podcasts done.
Imagine.
No. Imagine Dragons. No. Imagine Dragons. No. Imagine Dragons. No. Imagine Dragons. Okie dokie. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. And I'm going to put on some cool music for people listening. All right. Enjoy. Everybody will be right there. I think we're going to do Fade Away. Jason Tilburg's pretty sick. Oh, 1 minute.
Fade away.
Oh my god. Oh man, I always get like nervous on this part right now. Okay. All right, where's my script? I have my script. Here's my script. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. So I'm Alex, and this is our special guest, Nanoskyggen, and you're listening to the Zoe Gaming Podcast.
Press start.
Hey, what's going on, Nanoskyggen?
I gotta get used to that.
What,
How's it going?
Calling you your whole name?
Yeah, it's like, it's either just Nano. It's usually just Nano.
Nano. I mean, I can call you Nano, but I mean, I have in my notes Nanoskyggen written like so many times, like a lot. It's pretty crazy. How are you doing? How is everything going?
Good. Busy. Work and running the team and new news coming around. You know, meetings.
Meetings.
The
The life of a CEO. Oh yeah, that's right. You're a CEO.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I give a quick introduction about you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, this is Joshua Lanteign-Quinn. Did I say that right?
I'm actually impressed that you did.
Thanks, Google. Also known by his gaming alias Nanoskyggen, he's a tenured member of the online competitive community from the northeastern parts of Canada. He attended Alton College, where he received a certificate in policing and corrections, and is a member of the Canadian Armed Forces. But just like many guests that have been on this podcast, Nanoskyggen, otherwise known as Nano, has an incredible passion for gaming, which has driven him and his close friends in Canada to esports. Again, I'd like to welcome Nanoskyggen, CEO of Arctic Ace Esports, to the show. Welcome, man.
Nothing is hidden from you, it seems.
Nope.
But that was all easy information.
That's all easy information. I just looked it up on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. It's all there for that anyways.
I know. The only thing I couldn't find is something that we were discussing when we first started interacting, and you told me something about poetry, and I still can't find anything about that.
And you never will.
I'm like, dude, I really want you to just recite some poetry at the end of this podcast so bad.
Oh, truth be told, so it was actually a school project. So I can't even remember what it's called, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. So
Poetry class?
Well, no, I did it in English class, but I mean the name of the poem or something like that. I couldn't even tell you what it is anymore. All I have is a certificate laying around somewhere saying, "Hey, you're published."
Wow. Oh, so you're published.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I still couldn't find it. I was trying to do research because when he told me about that, I'm like, I bet I can find it. I can find almost anything, but I couldn't find it. And I did find someone with your name, and it wasn't you. And I was all like, what the hell? I'm like, it's literally poetry. How long ago was this?
Oh God.
It wasn't 2012, was it?
No, it would have been before that.
Really? Wow. Okay.
2006 maybe.
2006. Okay.
2006 or 2005, one of the two. I can't remember.
Interessante. Okay. Well, Nanoskyggen, we here at Zoe Gaming, we ask three questions, the same three questions, and sometimes I forget one of them. So if you're lucky, I'll forget one. But either way, we ask the same three questions to all of our guests. The first one being, what is the first video game you ever played?
Oh God, I'm gonna age myself.
That's okay.
So the very first video game I've ever played would have been The Legend of Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda?
Yes, on the
N64?
No. No, not even the Super Nintendo. The NES?
Wow. Yeah, you are aging
No,
yourself.
it would have been the Super Nintendo. It would have been the Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that would be the very first game.
That's so funny because our last guest, Shay Lioness, her, I think that was one of her first games she played was Zelda as well. But hers was on N64 though, with the 3-prong controllers.
Yeah, mine was with the old, gray and purple and blue controllers.
Yeah. So it's weird because I feel like a lot of people will get the NES and then the Super Nintendo mixed up because you had the ones that was literally just a rectangle, and then you had the rounded rectangle ones with a few more buttons on it and trigger buttons. So That was, I think the Super Nintendo, I think was, I want to say was the one with the triggers, and then the NES was the one with the cartridges that you had to blow every single time, and you had to open up this big old flap and shove the cartridge in there and then close it. But
you had to do that with the Super Nintendo as well.
I thought the Super Nintendo was just like a top-down cartridge, not like the N64, but I thought it was top-down.
It was a top-down, but anytime that it wouldn't load, you just blew it.
Dude, this podcast is gonna sound like it's like super pro Nintendo. Oh, you're right. Banana. Okay, so we do have chat open since we are recording this live. Definitely, Mimi, you are correct. Banana Cult Leader was the last guest. Shay Lioness was the guest before that episode. But yes, we were talking about Nintendo with Shay Lioness, and her favorite game of all time was one of the Zelda games. And but yeah, she was totally aging herself, but she's definitely not as old as me, or you. And funny enough, like right before this went live, or right before this episode, we were actually talking about who was older, because I'm all like, I always just assume I'm older than everyone now, because I'm a grandpa, I'm old as shit. But because you even said 31, then you're like, oh, I'm about to turn 31 actually. And I'm I still got a few months. I'll keep those few months. I'm only 30. God. All right. Second question: what is your favorite game of all time?
Oh, that's a hard one because there's so many good ones, and it's really, it's like literally in between two games, if I'm being honest with you. One is like the cliche, and then the other one is like just because of the memories that I've had from it. Halo 2.
Halo, okay.
Of course, because like
great memories of Halo 2 for sure.
LAN parties with my friends, like every weekend we'd go down to one of my buddy's place and literally just hook up our Xboxes.
Yep.
And then just play all day into the night, and like walking home at like 2 a.m.
Okay.
But I also have to say League on top of that as well.
League of Legends?
Yes, I know. It's like such like, why everyone's like, why do you like that? And it's like,
because it's honestly a great game. It is really great. Now for me, like one of my first like PC online gaming experiences when it came to esports, my first introduction was to Dota 2, and I learned about League. And I just remember, man, like both of those kind of games, like the MOBA style games, it just starts off very slow, and for a lot of people they can find that boring. But I mean, once you're like 10 minutes into the game, depending on who you're playing with and depending on what kind of skill level you're at, it can get really intense really quick. Like it's freaking awesome. But I enjoy some League of Legends, but I am not good anymore. I don't think I ever was, to be honest. If we're being honest, I was never really good. I was like a Kaisa and a Trundle and Jax, like all like one trick, so 3-trick ponying at one point.
So interesting with the League side of things, because like that's sort of the reason why I started the whole esports side, is literally just because of League. And there's a whole story behind that, because I was like, I'm going to go pro. So I messaged the local esports team here, and I was like, hey, do you have a spot? No message back. Didn't even give me the time of day. And I was like, all right, well, screw you guys. I'm just going to make my own team. And did that and completely got ass kicked at land.
Nice.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm not good as I thought at this game. But you know what? I can manage this. And sprout the years of esports later.
Definitely.
Here we are.
We will dive into that, because, you know, as you as a CEO of Arctic Ace Esports, that's definitely what we want to talk about at some point. The third question: what are the main games you're playing right now?
Oh God.
League.
Surprisingly, no.
Oh,
okay. I literally so I can blame one of our competitive Valorant players for this, because I was hanging out and he's like, hey, we're about to play the Cycle Frontier.
Oh, yes.
So I didn't play the beta. And since it's came out, I've put, I think, if I check my Steam, about 61 hours.
Already?
Yeah.
Dude, it's been what, since like last week?
June 8th.
7 days, man. That's 7 days.
Yeah, and I put 61 hours.
Oh my God, dude. That's almost 10 hours a day.
Yep.
You're like, no shame whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it is what it is at this point.
I got my roommate addicted to that game. Actually, he plays the shit out of that game. He's been doing he's doing like research into it. Like that's something I never really do. I never like go hardcore and like research into like games. I never like looked up too many. Like when I played Counter-Strike competitively a lot, I never like looked at too many videos unless it was like maybe smoke videos. I never looked up strat videos. I never looked up, best ways to peek corners or anything like that. I felt like a lot of that was just very intuitive for me. But in terms of like trying to like, this game is like a space version of Escape from Tarkov. And for those who have not played Escape from Tarkov, if you're listening or watching this live right now, it is one of the most hypo like combat simulator games I've ever played. It is intense. It is it brings so much anxiety. It's so hard to describe, but it has some of the best combat I've ever played in any game, period, though. But that game, it like pretty much if you die in Escape from Tarkov, any gear, any guns, anything you bring with you except for stuff that's in like a secure container, you lose it. Unless you have it insured, and then as long as no one picks it up off the ground within like 24 hours, then you get it back in your inventory. Cycle Frontier is the same way. It's pretty much you bring in all this gear into the map, and you got to go and you have to complete missions, and you have to go ahead and loot and mine for ore and things like that. But if you die and you don't extract, then you lose all of that stuff, and it's very, very like infuriating sometimes, especially if you're spending like 30 minutes 45 minutes in a single raid. You have all this crap on you, you've killed like 5 other players, and then you die to a strider like that's got to be like the most infuriating thing. Oh no,
that's not even try fall damage.
That's right, there's fall damage in this game.
Yeah.
And that's weird to me because like the graphics on this game remind me like somewhat of Apex Legends, and I always just think, oh, I can just jump off this cliff and not die, because Apex Legends there's no fall damage. This game, you break your legs. I mean, it's like a 20-foot drop and you're either like half, like almost like your health's like almost gone.
Yep, it's very unforgiving. Trust me. And it's sometimes you just like earlier today I was doing a raid and I went to jump and I was like, I can normally do this parkour, and then I slipped and off the cliff and I was like, shit.
Hardcore parkour.
And died. So yeah, that sucked.
Cycle Frontier is great though. I mean, I think that game's super fun. I'm still trying to go ahead and complete the beginner missions myself. I think I'm like level 7 or something like that. I haven't been putting as much time into that, primarily because Chivalry 2 came out on Steam on Sunday, so that's been taking up all my time. I'm not sure if you've seen the TikToks, but that game is absolutely hilarious. And
I did see it.
And it's so gruesome, but it is so much fun. So if you guys play Chivalry 2, if you're listening, make sure you hit me up. I'm down to go ahead and, we can go ahead and fight some nerds together and slice their heads off in the video game, that is. But yeah, interesting. Any other games that you've been playing?
I still go back to League, but mostly I've just been switching between like Cycle Frontier and TFT lately, because it's normally if I'm in a work meeting,
right,
I'm just listening, so I'll be playing a game of TFT.
TFT is like, I mean, it's Teamfight Tactics for those who are listening. It's League of Legends version of Dota 2's auto chess, but it's really fun. It's definitely a good game to play if you're not trying to have super full focus into it, especially as if you're multitasking or in work meetings. So
work from home, leave me alone.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for answering the 3 questions. Now you were dabbling a little bit earlier about esports and how you wanted to join a team, and they told you no, so you started your own. Then you got your butt whooped. Now, what's your history in esports? Like, can you tell me about Figure 8 Esports?
It's normally, what do you want to know? But I guess at this point, that would have been the first team I created back in actually December 14th, 2016, I believe.
2016.
Yeah, the exact date. So yeah, that was the first team. We dabbled into esports, and really took it all the way to basically the world scene because we had a pro PUBG player, mobile team.
Wait, you had a PUBG mobile team?
Yeah, PUBG Mobile is huge, by the way.
It's huge, full of bots.
But yeah, they placed like 13th in the world.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they were going up against like C9 and all that kind of stuff, which was cool because you had the local team from basically nowhere in Canada playing on the world scene. You just see your logo next to Cloud9. It's like, oh.
So wait, what part of Canada are you? Or is that Nova Scotia?
Northern of Nova Scotia. It's New Brunswick.
New Brunswick. Okay.
People call it No Funswick.
No Funs. Why do people call it No Funswick?
Because people just drive through. There's really nothing to do here unless you're like a nature buff. Really, you just drive through.
Sounds so exciting.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll take it. I like the outdoors, so.
Well, the second question I was going to have is that did you ever participate in these events yourself? And obviously, it sounds like you have. You did participate so you were like an owner player, or player owner.
Yes. So actually, so the team started up with basically League, and then I quickly realized I wasn't good. But PUBG on PC, I was. So I competed for a lot of the Microsoft tournaments for the team for PUBG
nice.
As the owner and all that kind of stuff. And we did well. Like I've had teams strategize just against me specific because I would wipe out teams because they wouldn't check rooms and I would hide there with shotguns.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was that kind of player. But you know what? It got us on the scoreboard and it got me kills. So
I mean, it's all about wins. Strategy, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what I love about some games. And that's where you kind of differentiate, like, different kind of players. Is there are those players that just like, hunt for frags. They're like, oh my God, I got like 30 frags. And it's just like, yeah, but you lost the game. But I got 30 frags, but you lost the game. You got last place.
PUBG is one of those games where like you get points for kills and then placements as well. So I'd always play for placement, and if people would come into my building, they would die. So yeah. I've had teams literally just pick up grenades and just grenade the shit out of buildings if they suspect I'm in there. And by grenade the shit, I mean like there's one team I think had like 20 frags in the building at one point.
20 frags in a single building.
Yeah, like that's how much they hated me.
That's funny.
There's one person that actually broke his keyboard because they were like almost first place, and I completely wiped their team. And I heard the story afterwards, and I guess he punched his keyboard so hard afterwards. I
would not punch my keyboard. I like my keyboards too much, as some of my roommates know, and some of my podcast affiliates and gamer friends know. I probably have an addiction to buying keyboards. Like I just bought this one right here. I'm not even sure if I can raise it high. It's actually I'll just show it. But this is actually the Razer Huntsman Mini. It's a 60%er, and it's my first 60% keyboard, and it is so good. Oh my God, I love it, dude. And I don't use I haven't used linear switches in probably I want to say 6 years. I've been using tactile or clicky, and these are the best feeling linear switches I've ever used, ever, period. 100%. So good.
I'm not even going to go there because you judge me so hard for my keyboard of choice because I've had
oh yeah, that's right.
3 years, but it's like a keyboard that you get in like an Amazon package that came with a headset and the mouse. I got rid of the headset and the mouse, but I kept the keyboard because I just love it.
Oh my God. Gaming Gaz in the chat says, you have an addiction? No way. No.
And besides, if you were to break a keyboard, you got like 6 replacements right next to you.
This is true. I'm actually about to sell one of them. It's it's a Corsair K70 rapid fire. It's the version, I think it's called the version 2, but it's Mercury and white. It's really cool. I like it. But it has linear switches. They're speed switches, but I hate them. Like they're so sensitive. It's stupid. Like I'm like I didn't even press any buttons and it's already hitting switches. So
but it's all right because come Friday we're gonna end up having to probably buy another keyboard now that I know.
Yeah, you should definitely get a keyboard for sure. You should pick up one of these ones. These are good.
I like my keyboard. Leave
Razer,
me alone.
sponsor us.
Oh God, no! I don't like Razer products.
Why don't you like Razer products?
they're overpriced, and like I've had the Razer mouses, and they break on me within like 6 months.
Damn, what are you doing with them?
I play League.
Okay, like don't get me wrong. Like I had a Death Adder. That was actually my first like high end gaming mouse, and that mouse lasted like 5 years. Like, and I think it's still somewhere in my work. Someone's using it somewhere. But that mouse has lasted forever. That mouse lasted a bunch of desk slams. And now the thing is, I don't slam my mice anymore. I used to slam my mice so much, but then I started using wireless mice, and those things, like if a good wireless mouse costs so much fucking money, and I don't slam those. Which one is that?
That's the Republic of Gaming, the Chakram.
Oh yeah, that's right. You use the Republic, the ROG. I think it's ROG.
Yeah, the ROG Chakram.
I'm using
the one
I got this one. I have the Viper nice. Ultimate from Razer.
See, I won this for free, so it's all good.
Oh, I earned mine. I guess we both got it for some way, somehow.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. The final, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a spicy question. Maybe we can call it a spicy question if we want. A lot of people like when we call it spicy questions because I try to come up with a spicy question. Have I said spicy enough? I don't know if I have or not. Spicy. Anyways, are you ready?
Go ahead. I'm curious.
All right. So now, while the gaming community knows you as Nanoskyggen, some may know you as Lieutenant Joshua Lanteign-Quinn. What's your role in the 560 Montauk Army Cadet Corps? And did any of your experiences with Figure 8 and Arctic Ace Esports help provide creative ways to keep the Cadet Corps connected through events such as trivia nights through Microsoft Teams?
Interesting. I'm actually I'm surprised. First of all, you butchered because it's actually Moncton.
Moncton, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not Canadian. I don't know these Canadian words or cities or places.
So yeah, currently right now I'm not there actually as a role because I'm on a full-time Class B contract with the Armed Forces working for National for the cadet program.
Oh.
So the Canadian cadet program is basically it's youth between 12 to 18, and basically they get instilled military values. You're not military personnel or anything like that. We're very adamant about saying that, but we instill the youth and all that kind of stuff with military values, discipline, drill, dress, deportment, all that kind of stuff. Leadership. Right. But yeah, so it's actually interesting because since I've been working with National and all that kind of stuff, I'm actually able to take sort of my background within like owning esports org and working in the gaming and take some of that and gamifying some of the program.
I love gamification. I love it. That's my favorite phrase when it comes to business and trying to incentivize things. Like it's the best.
Yeah, so I've been able to actually do that as of recently. I can't talk details because it's all like I won't say classified,
it's
but
OPSEC.
But no, it's definitely helped because normally our working role and all that kind of stuff is a captain, and I'm able to basically tell people like this is what I think we should do and have the whole program, which is like 75,000 kids plus shit. Like 6,000 officers listen because it's like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of my that's like I've been involved with the program since I was 12, so a lot of my life revolves around the military and how I deal with pretty much everything. Same with how the team functions. It's very like there's sort of a rank structure towards it. I guess every business kind of has a rank structure to it.
Yeah. No, of course.
Like everyone's like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. No, it's just a rank structure.
It's not a pyramid scheme. Actually,
trust me.
That's funny because my boss, like he was in the military and he was in the I believe he was in the U.S. Army, And what's it called? They like, and that's how he tries to set examples, because he knows my family has a big military background, and like that's how my dad like raised me and like our siblings, you know, to try and instill like, you know, values and discipline and things like that. So he would always like whenever he's trying to explain certain things, like, you know, when it comes to the CEOs and the management and, you know, and then the reps and the entry level associates, like he's just like, they're like the privates, and then those are the sergeants, and then we're the officers, and then they're the generals and admirals. And I was like, well, yeah, I get that one. I already got that. I figured that out. You have to freaking re-explain it to me 10 times over and over again. But he does a good job trying to, you know, like explain things like that, you know, whether it's to me or other people. So I always thought that was fun.
So I guess then that we always have a saying, because here it's like, so if you're an officer, you don't work for a living. So I guess that kind of makes sense for you then.
I work for a living.
Oh, trust me, it's completely different for our branch, but like in the normal like Canadian Armed Forces and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people are like, oh, you're an officer in the military, you don't work for a living, because like at the NCMs, which are the non-commissioned members, are the ones that do all the work.
Right.
But in ours, we don't have any NCMs. So basically we do all the work. So it's a lot different when we actually do exercises with the, we call them the actual military type deal. Because technically speaking, the majority of our members aren't combat trained. Like you still get like a select few that get combat trained just because of like their background, or they're coming from ex-military,
right?
Stuff like that, or they get it through, like my example, college.
College.
Yeah. But we're administrative basically, so we do a lot of paperwork and all that other stuff. So
gotcha. That's really interesting. Well, I appreciate you explaining that to me. Now, really quick, what did you think I was going to talk to you about?
Honestly, I thought you were going to bring up, oh God, I'm going to give you fire for this. So I'm in the process of writing a book, actually.
Uh-huh.
So I thought you might have found some of it, because I've written a few chapters of like the book, like, God, 12 some odd years ago or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm taking that and refreshing it and, you know, really expanding on it, because, you know, I was young and didn't really know how to write. So that's what I thought you were going to say.
Interesting. I don't know. That did not pop up when I was trying to go ahead and do a deep dive. So you might have dodged that one. What's the book about?
I hate this. So explaining it is very difficult, because it's like, it sounds like your cliche Red Dawn sort of book side of things.
Okay, so it's a cliche Red Dawn book, but in Canada.
Well, no, not necessarily Canada. So essentially what it is instead of like the Russians, it's basically you kind of have basically the Asian countries, so China, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, basically all those countries forming an alliance together and basically just taking over the entire world.
Oh.
And the US basically becomes a huge garbage dump, where they just throw all the dump of the garbage. And basically Canada just turns into an industrial, literally just factories and pollution everywhere.
That reminds me of how kind of like some of the factions were in Battlefield 2042 or 2142. Because 2142, that was like, I'm not sure if you remember, but that was like the sequel to Battlefield 2, but it was like futuristic. They had mechs in there. Oh God, that was one of the best like Battlefield games in the franchise, in my opinion. So much fun.
But the story actually just it follows a father and son, actually. So it follows their relationship going through this. And
interesting.
That, so.
I've also written a story before. I've also written like just a few chapters.
Oh, now what's your story about? I'm curious.
I will tell you. A few people have read the chapters. But pretty much it's like a dark take on Saint Nicholas.
Almost like what is it? Is it, oh God, what's the scary one?
Krampus?
Yes, Krampus. Something in that familiar with Krampus almost.
This is more of a dark take on the like an origin story.
Oh God.
Yeah. So we're currently about what, like 30 minutes into it. So I guess I can read a chapter. This is going to turn from a podcast into like an audiobook really quick. But I'll read you because I just pulled it up. During a dark, stormy evening on the polar ice cap, a company of sleds pulled by huskies skid very quickly across the tough, icy terrain of the Arctic. On these sleds were families and supplies gathered close together on the sleds to maintain bodily warmth. Piloting these sleds were a driver standing on the rear, grasping tightly onto the reins attached to the canine locomotive. The drivers were heavily clothed from top to bottom in thick pelts made from polar bears. The white coats blended so well with the heavy blizzard that pounded against the armada of sleds that it made it look like the sleds were driving themselves. "Mama, are we almost there?" a boy cried out. "Not yet, my dear boy. We still have a way to go," the mother replied. The boy held tightly onto his mother as the sound of sheer winds battered their eardrums. The panting of the huskies did not give the two any sign of confidence that they were going to make it to their destination. This group had been sent to investigate reports from travelers of mysterious disappearances, primarily related to the aurora seen amongst the evening sky. Some call it an evening rainbow. Others call it the dancing lights of the night. This investigative group coined it as the Northern Lights. The driver yelled in the direction of the mother, "If we keep up this pace, we're going to run these dogs ragged." The sounds of his voice fell upon deaf ears as she could not hear him due to the storm. Their sled was on point and had led the expedition since the start. He looked back and could barely see only one sled behind him. There were 6 in total. He pulled on the reins ever so slightly as he didn't want the huskies to come to an immediate stop and risk having the sled in the rear crashing into them. The sled slowly began to come to a stop, and the remaining 5 sleds followed suit. The man hopped off the sled and observed his surroundings as much as he could see. They had stopped at the base of an icy hill. He walked up to the side of the sled. "Nicholas, are you okay, son?" he asked. "I'm cold, Papa," the ginger-haired boy then muttered. He seemed so pitiful. "Don't worry, son. We're going to set up camp and hold here for the night. Grace, let's get camp set up." Grace responded shiveringly. "Yes, of course, my dear." The entirety of the group began to work together, and within an hour had made makeshift tents put together and small fires ignited to keep them warm. The expeditionary group began to finally rest, and all had fallen asleep. Nicholas had opened his eyes. The young boy awoke to silence. The storm had completely ceased. He had only been asleep for a couple hours. It was still nighttime. He peered at the tent and was immediately in awe. He's never seen such a freshly powdered landscape of snow. But something else caught his eye. At the crest of the hill, his eyes managed to capture a faint glow. A soft greenish and pink color originating from the sky. He put on his snow boots and, as quietly as he could, trekked up the hill. As he walked towards the top, the colors started filling the sky more and more as the silhouette of the snowy hillside was reduced the further he climbed. He took a few more paces and suddenly stopped, while the thought of enjoying the view of the northern lights was filling his mind. I lost my spot. Nicholas managed to maintain a level of self-awareness. He had taken another step, he would have fallen into a dark crevasse. The northern lights illuminated the ground beneath him just enough to see the bottomless pit. He froze, thinking of the what-ifs and hypothetical situations. His parents would be in absolute shock. The thought of even imagining his mother sobbing, not knowing what may have happened to him, sent tears falling down his face. He took a step back and fell to his knees. He looked off onto the horizon as the lights danced across the sky, his tears glistening as they froze upon his face. He realized that his hypothetical thoughts were just simply not true. He was alive. As he was preparing to get on his feet, he heard a slight crunching noise to his right. He froze. A second crunching noise occurred. He looked slightly to his right, and along the chasm he saw a shadowy figure only a few meters away from him. This being stood about 3 feet high, only about a foot shorter than the young red-headed boy. He was staring right at Nicholas. "Hello," Nicholas asked. The shadowy figure maintained silence. "I can see you, I hope you know. You're not really sneaky." Silence continued. Nicholas could not truly make out the shape despite some illumination from the sky. He was bluffing. The shadow took a step forward. The sound of snow compressing beneath the feet of this mysterious being was not any louder than a dog walking upon snow, but in the silence of the Arctic night, combined with the stricken fear that ran throughout Nicholas, it was more than that. The being moved closer to Nicholas. Nicholas's vision started to adjust as the short creature moved towards him, and the northern lights' radiance finally managed to dawn over this Little boy? You're just a boy, Nicholas exclaimed. The little boy opened his mouth. What do you mean, little boy? I'm an elf, he yelled back. Nicholas seemed to recognize he offended this elf. He observed the petite elf's physical attributes. He looked like a boy and sounded like a boy at first glance. He was wearing an odd-looking green hat. It was pointed at the top, but curved towards the end and seemed to have a bell on it. The elf's eyes were large. He could see the northern lights reflecting right off them. The elf seemed to be wearing very loosely fitting garments, matching the color of his hat. He couldn't realize how the short boy wasn't freezing his tail off. Nicholas then noticed something and asked, "Why are your ears pointy?" The elf replied, "Why are your ears round? Who are you and what are you doing here?" "My name is Nicholas and my ears have always been round." The elf asked again, "And what are you doing here?" Nicholas explained that he and his family were part of a larger group to investigate the disappearances of travelers in the Arctic region. Arctic Ace Esports. He stated how it was mainly in relation to the northern lights as he pointed in the sky. "Disappearances, you say," replied the elf. "Well, since you told me your name, I'll tell you mine. I'm Hermie, and I come from a workshop around here." Hermie explained how he had been working in the workshop for around 100 years. Nicholas inquired, "Well, what do you make of this workshop?" Hermie stated, "Well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you." "Oh, come on, I won't say anything," Nicholas exclaimed. Hermie pondered about it. As if he was thinking, he looked down the hill and saw a tent move. Grace peeked out the flap of the tent. There was panic in her face. She was looking for her son. "Nicholas," she yelled. "Nicholas, where are you?" Nicholas heard her calls, and before he was about to answer, Hermie said, "Sure, I can tell you." This immediately caught Nicholas's attention. Hermie continued, "I'll take you there." Grace's vision started to adjust to the night. Her eyes scoured the horizon and looked up towards the hill. As her attention of the beautiful northern lights rained around the hill, she caught a glimpse of two silhouettes standing at the top. Two short boys, she thought. She yelled again, "Nicholas, is that you?" No response. She waited for the moment to see if there would be any sort of reply. Then the shorter silhouette started moving. She noticed a glistening of two eyes peering right at her. What large eyes, she thought. The other slightly large figure waved and yelled, "Hi, Mama, I'm up here." Grace felt a combination of relief and worry. Who was the second person up on the hill with her son? As she pondered this, she began to walk up the hill, keeping eyes locked on the two figures. Suddenly, the shorter figure pushed the other swiftly, and one of the silhouettes disappeared, followed by a screaming that faded away almost instantly. Grace screamed, "Nicholas!" and started sprinting towards the peak of the hill. She was halfway up and continued to scream at the remaining silhouette. "Who are you, and what have you done to my Nicholas?" The large glistening eyes started to turn away. "No, stop! What did you do to my son?" The elf jumped and his silhouette disappeared. Only seconds behind, Grace finally reached where they were last standing and noticed the crevasse. She could only see a darkness that seemed to never end. She screamed for her son, with the only reply being her own as her calls reverberated amongst the walls of the dark, icy canyon. That's all I got so far.
Jesus. Oh my god, but like, my god, it's way more than what I have.
That's like a chapter. I think it's like 2 chapters actually.
Well, not bad.
Not bad. I haven't written anything in that one for, I want to say, like 4 months now, 5 months. So it was back in January. That was the last time I was writing it.
Oh,
yeah.
See, all my spare time goes towards another project that we're working on within the team. So,
so you're like, I don't have time to write.
I did. So like I was in between contracts and all that kind of stuff, because my contracts are usually 89 days. I get like 2 weeks off, so I take those 2 weeks and do something else with them.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's when I went back to writing. But now that we're looking to build video game within the team.
Hell yeah.
That's been keeping me busy.
Before we continue on, just want to go ahead and let everybody know about Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is a wonderful podcast hosting company that we at So Gaming utilize to help bring our episodes to you. The process of launching, promoting, and tracking our podcast statistics have been nothing but easy from the start. They also offer a multitude of guides to get your podcast going in the right direction, as well as sponsorship options through partners such as Podcorn to move you in the direction of monetizing your content. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout, like the So Gaming podcast, to get your message out to the world. Be sure to check out our affiliate link at www.soegaming.com and get a $20 Amazon gift card after your second paid invoice. So, one question I have. what are the future plans for Arctic Ace Esports this year and maybe going into next year? What's the 3-year plan?
Oh. So we were kind of talking about this, and actually before we went live, where our CS:GO boys are going to be looking to go to Frag in Philadelphia, or Frag. I don't know how you said it.
Fragadelphia.
Yeah, and maybe have you take along.
I would love to. I would love to go to, like, that's the only reason I'd go to Philadelphia is that and a legitimate Philly cheesesteak. But yeah, I would love to go ahead and go to that event.
Why not do both?
And shoot some damn videos and hang out with the boys and shit. That'd be cool.
Well, exactly. So that's looking in September. As for that goes, we also have a local land here for basically a lot of the local teams, so like our Valorant team, Rocket League team, and all that kind of stuff, as well as our Smash players. Come August, even more recent than that, we have our 2 Smash players going to Gommel in Toronto, which is one of the bigger tournaments for fighting tournaments. I can't remember what it's exactly called.
But
yeah, so they're going there. Yeah. So they'll be there representing us at the end of June. But going forward, literally, it's basically just exposure. And really, it's come January with the Valorant team is fighting for that franchise spot that is open.
Hold on, we just got raided on the wrong channel. We're gonna send the raid back over to Zoe Gaming.
What did you do?
Yeah, we had Blinded by Silence raid my So I'm Alex, which is me, my actual Twitch channel, but they raided that and there was no one there. So now I'm bringing him all the way over here to the Zoe Gaming podcast channel. By the way, for everyone that's currently watching, make sure you guys drop a follow to Blinded by Silence. She is actually going to be joining an episode of Zoe Gaming tomorrow. The episode we're going to be recording tomorrow is going to probably be released in 2 weeks, but it's going to be featuring Bree, aka Blinded by Silence, Caitlin, aka Cassabel, and Morgan and Miara Roberts from the Mysteriocities Podcast. It's going to be a pretty round robin table kind of discussion, and I think it's going to be a really good podcast. And I think it's going to be relatable for a lot of live streamers and people that are just jumping into content creation, and trying to market themselves out to some things like that. So I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be a good time. Let's pretend. Thanks again for the raid. Mia1530_. Thank you for joining. And Bree, don't worry about it. Don't apologize. It's fine. I fixed it. We're good. It's fine. But for those who are currently joining, welcome to the Zoe Gaming Podcast. So I'm Alex, and I'm joined by the CEO of Arctic Ace Esports, Nanoskyggen, aka Boss, and we were just pretty much discussing the future plans of Arctic Ace Esports, like what's going on this year, what they're planning on doing in the next couple of years. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of this.
Actually, it kind of makes sense because I forgot another land that's happening in November. 2 others that are happening in land. So the next year is kind of pretty busy for us because we got one in August, one in September, one in June technically for a few players.
Okay.
2 in November, and then basically we have the Valorant team fighting for. I shouldn't say fighting. They're going to be competing for one of those franchise spots for that.
So Arctic Ace Esports' Valorant team is pretty much competing for one of the franchise positions for Valorant, like Riot Games Valorant.
Like Riot Games Valorant.
That's insane. That's so cool.
They're at their level. They're all right. Between me and you, they are scrimming against like Gen G, and
between me, you, and everyone that's currently listening right now.
yeah, they are scrimming against some of those higher level teams. So
to try to get good.
Oh well, it's to get this team synergy. That's the thing. So there's
synergy,
still a new team, and they're very like we have a player that's never played on a competitive team before, so it's to get him used to comms and all that kind of stuff, which comes with time. But the synergy and the relationships are there because they're all local, so like they're all 2.5 hours from me. So it's nice because we can hit up an event and be like, all right, we're gonna go down to Halifax and meet up with the whole team and just go out for dinner, or go play paintball or something like that to
That's
build
so
a little
awesome.
a little bit more team morale. So
Definitely.
that's basically the near future side of things and next year's plan, and then basically just keep on building up the team and getting back to where we were with the old team, getting the name out there and being partnered and working on a few things in the background. We had a few partnerships with the old team with a few bands, that you might have heard, that we were allowed to use their music on any of our clips when we had their express permission. For example, a band called Chevelle.
Ooh, I've not heard of Chevelle. What kind of music are they?
Rock.
Ooh, I like rock.
Yeah, so a little bit of an older band, I guess. It's a little bit of our generation side of things. And then the other one was, First to 11, I believe, is the other one that we had partnerships with. They both actually have an F8 jersey from us with their own name on it and everything like that.
That's cool.
I think, yeah. So
I have heard of Chevelle. I guess as I've heard of them. So I guess
Red, I believe, is probably one of their more prominent songs.
I'm gonna have to check it out like right after. I'm not gonna play while we're like broadcasting or recording right now.
Well, yeah, because you'll probably get copyright strike.
Yeah, I don't want to get copyright strike. That sounds kind of dumb.
Yeah, we had express written permission, so anytime we got striked or anything, we just sent it off, and it's like, okay, cool. So it was nice. But yeah, we ended up doing a lot of events with them, kind of playing video games with them too, which was weird.
LOL.
So
that's great.
Well, no, usually Call of Duty was usually what they played. It seems like that's usually what a lot of celebrities and on the famous scale tend to play. Like we had one of our ex streamers play with David Dobrik.
David Dobrik, really?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of controversy around that guy. That guy's fucking funny. He makes such great content.
Well, it's just like you have this person from like a local team and all that kind of stuff playing with David Dobrik, playing with NFL players on a daily and just hanging out with them. He actually set a world record for Call of Duty Warzone back like probably just like a year and a half ago now.
That's insane.
Most squad kills, I believe.
WTF, man? What the hell?
Yeah, I think they had like 156 kills in one game, I think, with his squad, which was ridiculous.
That's a ton. What the hell, man?
Yeah, it lasted about a week and then it got beat again. But still, being a world record for a little bit, even if it's like a few minutes, it's still better than nothing.
This is true. This is true. Okay, and just to we're gonna go ahead and get on the tail end of this episode. But yeah, Arctic Ace Esports, guys, make sure you guys drop a follow on all the social media because, I mean, there are big things coming. As you can tell, Nanoskyggen has a lot of huge things lined up. I mean, shit, they're trying to create a video game, for fuck's sake. That's pretty dope.
I shouldn't say trying. The concept's already there.
It's happening. It's happening. Be prepared.
Plan release demo and everything.
Oh snap! I'm sure gaming guys might be interested in that. Guys like some demo. Like, I mean, I mean, in general, I mean, like especially in our like age group, I mean, demos were what drew us. Like literally, like growing up, it's just like they had the old demo disc that you could put in like your PlayStation that had like 10 different games, like a single level of them, and or you can go like if you're a PC gamer, you can download like the little like 500 megabyte shareware games. Yep, exactly those things too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, well, it's a speedrunning game, so it should be interesting, but multiple ways to beat it. So
that's so great.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap it up, I just want to go ahead and talk about the Holy Hell comic, aka www.holyhellcomic.com. It's actually my project, my sister's passion project, and it's like I said, it's a comic. And I'll give you a quick synopsis. In a metropolis of modern-day USA, an overly enthusiastic angel enlists the help of a borderline nihilistic pyrokinetic witch doctor to help him save the soul of a saint. Meanwhile, a plight of sudden violence inflicting supernatural beings begins to plague the city. while the angel, Ambriel, aka Amber, is prepared to murder the monsters. The witch doctor, Natasha, is insistent on curing them of their sudden inflictions. They notice a pattern of affected monsters, as well as a connection to Amber's search for a saint. With the assistance of Natasha's flower shop employee Lionel, her familiar Faye, and her estranged coven, the band uncovers a threat of astronomical proportions. So, guys, definitely check out www.holyhailcomic.com. If you love the comic and you end up reading it, you can go ahead and support my sister by going and signing up for her Patreon. She has a Patreon on there that you can go and check out. There's 2 level tiers. It's very minimal. I think it's like $3 to $5. So doing that helps her. That way she's able to go ahead and put some time to go ahead and focus on creating this amazing comic. And I believe there's already 5 comics or volumes out there. I don't know if it's volumes or episodes or series. I don't know what a single comic is. A book, magazine thing.
I think it's a comic book.
Yeah, comic book. And then the final shout out is again for Blinded by Silence. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that this hat I've been wearing. But this is actually from blindedbysilence.com. It's her merch, and you can go ahead and check it out. Her merch is pretty cool. It's really trendy in my opinion. I got the dad hat. It's pretty sweet. You can go ahead and check it out. Support Blinded by Silence by going ahead and buying some of her merch. And again, we're gonna have Blinded by Silence. I can't talk. We're gonna have Blinded by Silence, Castabel, and Morgan and Miara Roberts from the Mysteriocities Podcast joining us tomorrow for a recording. We hope to see you guys there. That one should start airing at around, or we should be going live at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for that episode. But yeah, once again, Nanoskyggen, thank you for joining the show. I know we're gonna probably have some more episodes that we record, whether it's with you, whether it's with other members of the Arctic Ace Esports community. I know he's gonna force me to do it anyways, but either way, thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, nothing really. I don't force you to do anything that you don't want to do already. I just give you the option.
Alrighty, that's so funny. Anyways, usually we have the title "So We Gaming," and usually the other person says it or the guest. So
we gaming?
Yeah, we're gonna go game. Okay, guys, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Press start.
Wow, that was a good episode. For those who are currently joining us that are still in the chat right now, we're actually going to go ahead and send the raid over to one of Arctic Ace's streamers, pending if any of them are live right now, which I assume some of them are.
Well, M3D, Toxic Insanity, you have a lot.
We have so many to choose from. Oh, Castabel's currently streaming. She's the one that's actually going to be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, send it on over to her.
Let's go ahead and raid Castabel, everybody. Guys, once again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. This episode that was broadcasted live will be live on all streaming platforms, I believe, Tuesday next week or this upcoming week. So, yeah, stay tuned for that one, and you guys have a great night. Let's go ahead and watch all these viewers go in there. Oh, there's an ad for her stream. Oh, she's playing Valorant right now, too.
Yeah.
Raid message. So we gaming? Boom.
So 5 or 10, Alex.
5 or 10. What?
Just 5 or 10. Pick one.
10.
What?
All right.
Where's their Sova aiming, dude? Where
Use it? Is he just not gonna use it?
So we
I
gaming?
don't think he did.
Yeah, what?
Here you go.
Oh!
So we gaming with the 11
Yo!
person raid? Hello everyone!
Hey,
Holy
yo.
shit!
Heaven.
Hello! With the 10 minutes!
Holy shit, dude.
Thank you so much!
Business expense.
Oh my Oh my god! This is crazy! Thank you! Hello! Oh my god!
That
I was
hair, though.
podcast. Your hair looks so good. Oh my god, thank you so much. It's actually so faded right now.